Not long ago, while reading and doing some homework, I came across a troubling statement, to say the least, in one of my textbooks. The book was called A General Introduction to the Bible by Geisler and Nix. It was late and I was tired, and if you've ever been to college, you know how some of that required reading can be. It's kind of boring, and I probably wouldn't have retained anything at all had it not been for the statements and the things I read on page number 43. At the top of the page it said, "Some errors of copyists have obviously crept in." Now, that statement didn't bother me much at first. After all, I'd heard liberals say stuff like that 100 times, and he was talking about the original manuscripts and all that garbage they talk about, scholars and so forth. But there was a footnote at the end of the sentence, and at the bottom of the page the author went on to give examples of these obvious quote-unquote errors. For instance, in 1 Kings 4:26, he says, the Bible says that Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses. But in 2 Chronicles 9:25, a parallel passage, it says Solomon had 4,000 stalls for horses. Now, this might not have given another Christian a problem, particularly the ones who don't care much about math. After all, there's only a difference of 36,000 horses or so. No big deal, right? Well, I've never been much of a math whiz, but I have to confess I had a long night that night, because there in black and white was what seemed to be an error in the Bible. So I was in a pickle. I felt like if this was true, my church was really a cult, and I'd wasted 4 years of tuition, not to mention gas money for the 4-day-a-week, 120-mile round trip to school. But in the wee hours of the morning, I found the answer. Finally. So check it out. It's 1 Kings says that he had 40,000 stalls of horses. 2 Chronicles says 4,000 stalls for horses, of and for. Keep that in mind. So that simply means that Solomon had 4,000 stalls, and at 10 horses per stall, that comes out to 40,000 horses. Now, that was so simple I was mad at myself, and I hope you won't think I'm crazy, but I took that book, I stabbed it with one of my hunting knives and ripped the pages out, kicked it across the room, but then I remembered that I still had homework in it. Well, I guess anger resteth in the bosom of fools.